Where did the dinosaurs fit in?
The dinosaurs, I believe, went into the Ark with Noah. I actually believe they died out in the early centuries after the flood. So that's my view. If you consider the gap theory, which I've covered last week, not in depth though, but if you like some links I could flick that on, where people preach a pre-Adamic creation, and they reckon that that's when the dinosaurs lived. Well, how is that possible if, like on that slide where I've mentioned of the footprints of humans and even horses together with dinosaurs in certain layers, how is that possible?
Ken Hogan has a great DVD on the dinosaurs, eh?
Sorry?
Ken Hogan has a big DVD.
Yeah, he's
all the
looked
historical
into quite a bit.
evidence that dinosaurs have lived up until relatively recent times.
All the legends of African say, you know, the dragons that people find in front of their boats. Real dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's a good point Miriam makes. Where we get our dragons from could possibly have come from the dinosaurs.
Well, he points out that they changed the name,
that embroidered. Yeah, it actually means terrible lizard. That's all dinosaur means. But yeah.
Isn't the word dinosaur a relatively new word?
That's right.
There used to be dragons and so on.
Yeah, the connotation of dinosaur today is that it's an organism that lived millions of years ago, whereas in actual fact it might have, and I believe it was a contemporary of humans, of early humans at least.
And the Red Indians have stories about how they used to kill the pterodactyls by putting fires in the mouth of their caves.
That's right. There's a good movie on it. It's quite old. It's on christiananswers.net. I could flick that through as a link as well, which goes into the whole dragon mythology, but shows that there is factuality to it in its simplest forms.
Some Sam, perhaps there's Dottie, about elephants. So of course we've had a look at a lot of things, and one of their evolutionary things is that its closest cousin is, I've got my other wrong word.
Hyrax.
Hyrax, yeah. Which looks more like one of those underground.
Yeah, pretty much like a guinea pig.
Yeah, like a guinea pig. Yeah. Or an aardvark is next to it or something. But the Hyrax.
That's a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hyrax is. That's simply on its paws or feet, the way they are assembled structurally.
So that's the only reason.
Because taxonomy looks first and foremost at structure. It doesn't really consider ecology in terms of habitat and that. They group them together on that basis. And that's very shaky, so I agree with you. I don't think they're related apart from that, but obviously we know that they're related to one God.
More of a
in that sense they're related, but not in terms of going from a common ancestor. I don't think that's likely.
Those butterflies would be fantastic.
Yeah, courtesy.
And actually you can have a little CD, like the National Graphic one.
Yeah, those slides were taken across 2 years, I think it was. It was quite meticulous work. She was very fascinated by it. I was just asked about...
you really would wonder how that could possibly evolve, all of that. And then the migrations as well across multiple generations.
And how we just build nests and that, where does instinct come from?
So that migration, were you saying that one generation was started and then they get to some point and then they say the next one carry on the migration further across? Is that what you were saying? is it not just one butterfly going the whole way? It's actually...
It's the fourth generation, as far as I
Fourth
understand,
generation.
because they have a longer life expectancy.
What do you mean the fourth generation makes the migration,
Yeah.
or it takes
The
4
south.
generations to make it?
No,
fourth.
read it again.
The fourth generation
No, the fourth generation has the longer life
has a
expectancy.
longer life and can make
It makes the whole migration.
the southern one.
I see.
To Mexico.
It depends on the
Then-
season
then-
when they would.
Then it has
Be
a
alive.
snooze over winter and starts its northward. The next generation starts going north.
But yeah, I
that
don't
takes
know what he
4.
means by
That takes-
leapfrogging.
Yeah, I thought it.
I might look into that a bit. That's interesting.
I understood it as it takes 3, or however many years, however many generations it takes to go north again. They'll go so far because they've got they won't be able to go the whole
Right.
distance.
Yeah.
They'll go somewhere along the way,
Yeah.
do their whole
That's what
metamorphosis,
he was saying.
and the next monarch butterfly will fly further north. Then it has to stop and breed a bit,
Yeah.
and it's great. What? How many
It
greats?
reckons up to 5 generations of butterflies leapfrog each other until the great-grandchildren find their way to the Canadian summer again. So yeah, the northward migration
Hmm.
is by leapfrogging, it appears. But the one southward is done by a single generation. Yeah, we don't have that in New Zealand.
I kind of had the feeling when you went through the chrysalis, but what goes on in that chrysalis, when you said the rearranges, being broken down and rearranging must be amazingly complex.
Well, exactly, and that's not studied. I don't know of a paper that actually covers the intricacies of what happens there.
And presumably
It's
there
just
must be
mind-blowing.
DNA that describes that whole process,
Yeah,
maps the whole
exactly.
process.
Yeah, it
And
is
something that
fascinating.
tells the great-grandchild where to get back to,
Yeah.
from where its ancestor
Yeah, that's
came from.
that is a mystery to me, at least.
Mm.
I don't know of any
I don't think
entomologist who has captured the mechanism of that fully.
It's quite hard
Just-
to conceive what the mechanism could actually be, isn't it?
Yeah, we just have anecdotal observations at best.
I mean, is even that coded into the genetics?
There you go, John, in terms of your question about carbon-14. Okay, we don't have nitrogen, that's another elemental isotope anyway, but in terms of carbon-14, which is the one found in food, that is unstable and that decays in our bodies.
So carbon-12 is...
Carbon-12 is the normal carbon.
Right, so carbon-14's got 2 extra protons,
Yeah.
and it sheds them over time,
Yeah,
therefore the amount of carbon-14s reduces.
yeah.
Right.
So that is the stable one, that's what it would like to be.
Right.
But obviously in terms of decay it can also be nitrogen. It would appear, yeah. So yeah, the one's heavier because of the 8 neutrons.
So did you say the carbon-14s are created in the upper atmosphere?
Yeah, that's right. It's
So-
when atmospheric nitrogen gets hit by cosmic rays.
So if there was much more
Energized.
water vapour in the atmosphere before the flood, as is often hypothesised, that would reduce the cosmic rays hitting
Yeah.
the carbon atoms, and therefore decrease the number of carbon-14s being created, wouldn't it? So that would be consistent with that long-standing hypothesis. It's also supported by the Bible that the world had much more water vapour before the flood, eh?
Yeah, I think there's enough there for us to deduce that. I think that's a fair
Right.
assessment. I think that's well put, John.
So your graph is probably pretty likely to be realistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not real data, but the
Yeah.
trend is certainly, quite valid. Yeah, although courtesy to bioplus.org. It's not my graph there.
And better for human life too, not getting bombarded by all those cosmic
Yeah,
rays.
so the DNA deterioration due to sun rays was very much reduced back then as opposed to today. And perhaps the life expectancy differences. Although obviously there are other factors as well. There was also supernatural declaration of God stating that our lifespans will be shorter. Although Shem, that lived before the flood, it is clear that he still had a long life, and so did Noah, even after the flood. So physiologically they were different than to what humans are today.
Any possibility to be able to email that
Chronological.
thing of the lives of the people from creation?
Oh yeah, sure.
That's great.
In fact, I'm intending to PDF the whole slideshow, if you like.
Oh, great.
So it'll be in there. And there's sufficient, I think I've given credit to,
Yeah, that's good.
let's see, yeah, Joe and Clark. Let's have a look if I've done it on the actual